Hey everyone, here I am. For a minute I thought I was doing a live, but I'm not. I mean, not a live video. I am alive, obviously. I'm down here in Garland, not in the best area, but I'm aware of my surroundings. I know better. It's overcast today, and when I left, it was 83 degrees, and I don't know if we're gonna get rain. I don't think we are. But the overcast is nice, a break from that blazing sun. Yesterday it was 103 with the real feel of 112. So, it's been a while since I did a video. I did a live the other night, and that was fun. We had just a little giveaway. I showed 2 crochet books, hardcover books from the Needlecraft Shop, Afghans. I came down here to Garland. I did go to the thrift store. I'm on a mission. I wanted to go in there to look for an insulated bag like you would take on a picnic or take to your job, because the one that I had, I hang it out on my gate for my Meals on Wheels to drop off the and I put an ice block in it for when I'm not home. Like now let me see, I gotta tell you about that. I don't know what time it is, but sometimes I'm not home when they come. I'm either out doing errands or at a doctor's appointment, and so they will leave your meal if you have an insulated bag with an ice pack in it, or just as long as it's insulated, or if you have a cooler, especially in the summer. And the one that I had, I've had it for quite a while, so it was in bad shape, but I think because it's been hanging out on my gate, the hot sun actually tore the handle. It had to have been the sun. And so I, with wooden clothespins, I clothespin the handle back, the strap, and then I clothespin the bag shut because the zipper broke long ago. And, but if they there's one delivery driver that I have that gives me lots of extra things, like 3 bananas, 2 oranges, and whatever, you know. She's just very thoughtful. And it'll weigh down that bag, and I'm afraid that the clothespin will unclip and the bag will fall, and you know, everything will be on the ground. So I came down here to the thrift store because I have seen them here for like $1.99, 99 cents, and I was thinking, well, with back to school, they'll probably have things like that out, you know. Even if I could get one that a kid maybe would use for school, not a little kid. Anyway, I did not find one, but I did find this. That is I don't know what it is. It's not a train. It's not a bus. It's like a bus on wheels, but it's not a subway because it's up above ground, and I don't know what they call it. But it goes from here down into Dallas. Jamie, who lives here, from Jamie's Hooked, she would know what that's called. I've yet to take it. I've wanted to take it, but I don't want to take it alone because I don't know how it works. But that, if you heard that, that's what just went by. Anyway, look at this book I found. And look at, I don't know if you can see, $1.99. And I think it was 30% off. It was either 30% off or 50% off, because it goes by the colors today, but I don't think it was 50% off, 30% off. But you know what? If today hadn't been that color and it was $1.99, I still would have bought it. Look at, Now, I don't know if I already have this book. The back looks familiar, but I couldn't leave it there. It's a Better Homes and Garden Crochet and Knitting book. 50 plus projects for your home. I'm not going to show it off right now. I'm just looking. First printing was in 1977. And the 9th printing was in 1981. So it must be, pretty good if they had to print it 9 times, don't you think? So I will do a live, or I'll do a video and show that off. I don't want to do it now because I want to tell you what's been going on. As you know, like I guess the last couple weeks, I just have not felt well, right? I'm trying to get more of this sanitizer out. And let's see, Monday of this week, I had a cardiologist appointment scheduled that was scheduled months ago, because down here to get in to see a specialist, they're booked out. So when I had my echocardiogram a couple months ago, the appointment for a follow-up got scheduled for this last Monday, even though he emailed me my results of the echocardiogram and everything was normal, and the situation I have with my aorta had not changed, but he wanted me to come in, and there it goes again, and he wanted to ask questions and make another appointment. So that was Monday. Well, I had been down sick since Friday night or Saturday with sinus trouble, allergies, my face swelled. I got this thing here, I don't know what it is. I had an awful cough, dry cough. We had a lot of dust from that Sahara dust storm that came up this way. I couldn't be outside hardly, just outside to do what I had to do. I didn't sit with my chickens hardly all week. So I rescheduled that cardiologist appointment. I didn't feel well enough to drive all the way down to Plano. And with that dry cough, even with a mask, I didn't want to be in the big waiting room if I had a coughing attack. I didn't want to be in the exam room with the doctor if I had a coughing attack. And coughing for me is, when it's an attack, it wears me out, because it often puts my spinal cord into spasms because of the spinal cord disease, and then it'll trigger a migraine because of the brainstem disease. So it's just best for me, if I know I'm gonna have a coughing attack, it's best not to go nowhere. So that was Monday. Tuesday was the rheumatologist. I went there to follow up regarding the condition of my hands, the bones and the joints in my fingers. And how can I tell you without telling you? Let's just say that it's going to take God to fix the problem, and he's well able. Now, she did send me down for lab work, and she checked a bunch of stuff: liver, thyroid, a bunch of stuff. I did not think that she checked my sugar, because at the end of this month was an appointment with my endocrinologist. So I thought she was going to leave it for her to do. However, because I was with the rheumatologist quite a while and telling her how I've been feeling for a couple weeks, she went ahead and ordered blood work for the sugar too. That was Tuesday. Tuesday. Wednesday they emailed all the lab work, little by little, but I was not seeing nothing about sugar. So I thought, she did tell me, if your sugar's high, I'll be calling you. And she didn't call Wednesday. yesterday morning, early in the morning, her nurse called, said, your blood sugar is high, dangerously high. Your body has already started to go into DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, which I had back in February when they took out my dead gallbladder, and then I came down with sepsis and the diabetes ketoacidosis, which between that and the sepsis almost took me out of this world. And it took a long time to get that ketoacidosis under control in the hospital. I don't know how many IV bags of different antibiotics I had. And you know, when you're on antibiotics, especially that many, they go right through you. So that's another problem. So the rheumatologist said she was going to call the endocrinologist yesterday, but wanted me to call and see if I couldn't get in sooner than the 30th, because the way the levels were looking, maybe by the 30th or before, I'd be back in ICU. So before I could, call the endocrinologist nurse called me, because they had already received the report through email, and they're in the same building. And the nurse called, and they got me in yesterday at 2. Canceled the appointment for the 30th, got me in yesterday at 2, which I hate to drive to Plano in the afternoon, but for something like this, I had to. Plus, I so appreciated the endocrinologist getting me in that soon, because she's one too that gets booked out. But before all of this, today's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday evening, I think Wednesday is when I did my live. And then I took everyone out to lock up the chickens with me. After that, I noticed my window was down, and I wanted to put it up. So I went out there to go put up my window, and it was sounding funny. It's electric, but it went up. But that sound, something told me, well, start the car. Wouldn't start. And then I tried again, and it was really having a hard time to turn over. When it did, finally, I put my headlights on. They were so dim. I thought, oh no, must be the heat has drained my battery. Well, there was nothing I could do. It was at night. My live ended 9 or after 9. I was tired. I thought I'll deal with this in the morning. So early in the morning, after I let the chickens out and the dogs out and fed all the animals, I lifted up the hood, and now my battery posts had some acid on it, but not much. They've been worse before. And I thought, I'm gonna text someone that lives out on the land and see if when they leave out, if they couldn't stop by and give me a jump start. And so they did. And then they were kind enough to unhook everything and really clean off the post with a wire brush, and even check the water level in my battery, and that was fine, and hooked me back up and jumped me up, and it turned on. And so I had to be at the eye doctor yesterday morning for 10 o'clock, and it's in town. At 9:45 I went out, and the car didn't want to turn over. It did, but you could tell it didn't want to. Now help came at 8 o'clock, so that was only not too long. I thought, well, if it turns over, I'm gonna go right to the eye doctor. At least I'll be there and in town, in case when I get done the car don't start. I'm in town, I can call for help, and I have one appointment off my back, because my eye appointments are over an hour long because they're annual diabetic eye appointments, and she's very thorough. Yesterday it was 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's not waiting. That is, you're at this station looking at bright lights and clicking the clicker. Then they move you to this station and check behind your eye, check your retinas. Then you're at this station. Then you're in this room. Then you're in this room. And no waiting. I mean, they moved me around 2 hours and 5 minutes. And I'm praying, oh God, please, please let the car start. Let the car start. I cannot miss the appointment in Plano with the endocrinologist. Now, I'll tell you about the eye exam. My prescription has changed just a little with, now this is my bad eye, but the prescription, the lens has changed a little bit in this eye just to make distance better. Now this is the eye that has the scar on the retina from the brainstem disease. Before the brain surgery, when my brain was slipping, it pressed on the optical nerve and scarred my retina. And I mentioned this before. I was having to go to a retina specialist twice a year, then once a year. And because the scar was not growing, he said every 2 years, unless I had issues. Well, it's been, my eye doctor looked it up because she's friends with him and the one that referred me to him. It's been a little bit more than a couple years. And so I need to go out there. She called out there to send the referral because it's been a little more than a couple years, number one. But number two, in the testing that she did and looking behind here, she's concerned that there's a possibility of a restriction of blood flow to my eye, which does not panic me. It sounds horrible, but it's very common with Chiari. Before I had the brain surgery, I had a lot of restricted blood flow all around my brain. Oh. I was having to go for blood study tests real often. But God brought me through all that. And so she told me that legally I can drive in the state of Texas still with this prescription. It would just make things a little easier if I could get the other lenses. And of course, I don't have to change frames. However, my insurance doesn't cover this. Now, last year, if you remember, I got tangled up with that Aetna, and that was a mess. Some they paid, some they didn't. I don't remember the whole thing because it was a nightmare. But I had to get out of that Aetna because they were starting to say, well, this neurologist is not in network. Your cardiologist is not in network. You know, they were trying to say, but you got all these other benefits, but you're going to have to go to our doctors. I got out of that because that's not what they told me in the beginning. We went through my whole list of doctors and any medicines, and I was told in the beginning, everything is in network. And so anyway, I would have to pay out of pocket for the new lenses, which they said yesterday was over $100. My prescription's good for a year, so if within the year I can save that up, then I'll go get it done. If not, I can legally still drive with this prescription for a year. It's just, it would make things easier with distance for this eye. I want to save the good eye, right? Let me see. I did ask my eye doctor about ordering online. I know you can do it. You just get the prescription and they write down your measurements and you go online to different places and get your glasses, $7. I know someone that got for $7.99. However, the ophthalmologist said, of course, that's up to me. She just doesn't encourage it because she has seen in customers where they, a couple of the online places, and she was very kind. She said, I'm not gonna name them, unless I had named, oh, I'm looking to go to this one. You know, she's very professional. She's not gonna put down other professions, but she has experience with customers that some online places did not get the prescriptions right, and the customers at the end ended up just getting them from there. She's not, you know, I've had her 12 years, I guess. She's not one that looks to take people for a ride. She's very good. She has even in the past let me make payments. Okay, so that was yesterday morning. Eye doctor. Now, when I left there, I told you the car, or did I tell you? The car didn't want to start, but then it did. And I thought, before I go anywhere else, I'm just a few blocks from AutoZone. Car, go to AutoZone without any issues in Jesus' name, and let them come out and do a free battery check. And God got me there. And they came out and checked and said, well, your battery's leaking. I said, now I don't know if that's leaking or if it's a little bit of water residue from when my friend cleaned off the posts and everything. I said, I don't think that that's acid. Of course, we were not gonna check. I wasn't, they weren't. So they hooked up the little meter thing that they do, and it came back that the battery failed and was bad. They said, how'd you even get here? I said, I commanded my car to get here in Jesus' name. And of course they looked at me like I have 10 heads, which I don't care. Hey, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run in and they're safe. And he's an ever-present help in the time of trouble. You know I'm going to call on him. And so after that, I ran home. I knew that Meals on Wheels had come by then. I wanted to get that food in. I wanted to get the fur babies out. And then I did a couple things at home, and then I headed to Plano because I thought it's better to be early. There's traffic, there's construction, and I left early, but guess what? When I got there, both elevators were down. They had people there in the lobby, nurses, telling you the elevators are down, so the choices are the stairs or the 2 freight elevators, which is used by the medical supply companies and the housekeepers, you know. And so there was a long line for the freight elevator. I could not climb the 7 stairs to where I needed to go, so I waited in line. And when I finally got on a freight elevator that was not really crowded, because I mean people were panicking and squeezing in, and it was hectic. Oh, low battery. And it was hectic. When I finally could get on one, it took me to 2 floors different than where I needed to be. But I got off it. I didn't know. I didn't realize. I should have known. I mean, I know that place, but I just thought, well, it's stopping. It says on the number, it says 7, but it dropped me off at 5. Well, I got off, and then I realized I'm not at the right place. But I went to one of the desks and I explained, and I asked them, could they please do me a courtesy and call up and let them know I'm here, but the freight elevator dropped me off on the wrong floor. It's running me late. I'll climb the stairs, the 2 flights to get up there. She called in front of me, and everyone was so understanding because they said the freight elevators now are not working correctly. They're dropping people off just wherever. So I had my endocrinologist appointment, which went over an hour. Lots to talk about. Trying to figure out a plan to get things under control so that I don't end up in ICU. She explained how they look at that particular test and figure out when you're close to going into DKA, which I don't have time to tell you because it keeps saying battery low. I left there, and it wasn't easy to leave. I took the stairs because when I left, only one freight elevator was working, and it was still acting up. And they said it was running on emergency power, and it was on the brinks of not working. So everyone was going to end up having to take the stairs at one point. I don't know how wheelchair and walkers and canes, how those people were going to do it. I imagine they have a plan, but what is it? I don't know. So I took the 7 flights down. That's easier than going up, and I left. And I prayed over my car again, get me back to Wiley, and it did. And when I got back, I had to go to Walmart, and there goes that transport thing. I had to break down and buy a new battery because I cannot risk being stranded. I can't risk being somewhere and then calling people for help, and people that I know work and they don't, very few of them work locally. Very few of the people I know from church even live locally. It would be living on the edge if I continued with that bad battery. So I paid over, I got the battery over $100. And I think it's 2 or 3 year warranty. They don't make 5-year warranties anymore. So I'll probably eat fresh eggs and beans for the rest of the month. But that's protein. Hey, I'm not gonna get down in the dumps about nothing. God is large and He's in charge, and hey, this is life. So now it's going that way again. I gotta figure out the name of that thing. What else can I tell you? I think that's it. By the time I finally got home, it was after 5:30, and I collapsed. I laid down, I collapsed, but I had to get up eventually to change everyone's water. And I just could not make it to church. I was feeling very sick. The endocrinologist said that it showed that I was dehydrated also. I've been drinking so much extra water. You can get to a point though where you can drink so much water that you can get dehydrated that way. It's very, very complex. I'm not drinking an overabundance of water because I know better, but see, I'm drinking the water, and the neurologist has me on that fluid pill to try to get this fluid retention down. And so she advised me, who did I see? Endocrinologist advised me to stay on the water pill because, and so didn't the rheumatologist on Tuesday, because they noticed, the rheumatologist did, that the inflammation in my hands has come down some. And so I'm gonna leave, number one, because low battery. Number two, big parking lot that I'm in. And as always, no one is parked right next to me except, look it, this big truck just pulled in next to me. Bless his heart. Look at the parking lot. And right there, right next to me. Okay, I'm gonna let you go, and I'll talk to you later.